What's up, guys? We are back. Fitness Profit Multiplier, Anthony and Jimmy. Remember, Fitness Profit Multiplier, guys, what do? We help personal trainers improve and scale their sales system. And what we're going to talk about today is how to close 30 new small group personal training clients a month. And when we talk about small group personal training, we're talking about high ticket small group personal training, not boot camp 199, BS. We're talking, $300 all the way up to $600-700 a month. Jimmy, how much is your highest end package? Ours is like $550 if they sign a commitment level, but if they don't, it's like $650. So what's yours? I don't even know what it is.
700.
Okay, yeah. So that's the range, guys. That's what we're trying to sell you. But we want 30 new clients like that. So there's certain things that you have to do here. So Jimmy, let's get into it. 30 new small group personal training clients. Go.
Okay. So this episode's going to be a lot more about the math, guys, because we have to backtrack our math to get to where we want to go with this. And a lot of people will claim online, they'll say, you see all these ads out there, 30 new clients, 20 new clients. I even saw one that said 100 new clients in a month. And I'm like, okay. So what's the math look like on all that? So when we look at the math, you have your client base, and you have to look at, okay, how many of these prospects, you have your prospect base, right? How many of these prospects do I need? How many do I need to book? How many calls do I need to make? How many appointments do I need to set? And how many closes do I need to get per week to get to 30 new members? Okay. So let's backtrack the math. 4 weeks, let's say, each month is technically 4.3, but let's say 4 weeks, say you're doing it in February. Okay. So 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, if you close 8 clients a week, you're at 32 clients, right? So you need 8 clients a week. So what does that look like? Sorry, guys, my dog is here at the gym with me. My dog is here at the gym with me. We'll get through this math in just a second. We're doing it live. So, hey, we're doing it live, guys. We're dog people at FTM. So.
Well, while Jimmy wrangles in the dog, I just want to jump in here really quick. The reason why we have to do any of this math, guys, I hate math. I will be honest with you. I'm sure most of you hate math too. That's why you got into the gym business. But math is this kind of math I love to do because this kind of math brings money, dinero. So we need to focus on how we get there. And it really is just a numbers game. All of sales is just a numbers game. Same thing with dating, right? Like I have a friend who he's like, he's trying to get like dates online or whatever. And he's like, I've tried all these apps. They don't work. I'm like, dude, how many messages are you sending out? Oh, I sent out like, a couple. I'm like, what's a couple, man? He's like 5. I'm like, dude, that's not enough. It's just not enough volume to get to where you need to. So you messaged 5 girls and none of those girls went on a date with you. So that means that you need to do 10. And if no one goes out on a date with you, then you need to do 15. Like it's just a numbers game. At some point, someone's going to say yes. And whatever that number is, then that's how many leads you need to get a date, right? And then if that doesn't work, then you need to look at, okay, what's my system look like? What am I saying on these messages to these girls to try to get them to talk to me, right? Do you need to tweak that messaging? And then you could even look further into it. Do I need to change my offer, right? Do I need to change my profile picture? Do I need to put a different picture up? Like there's a lot of variables that go into it. It's not just like, okay, I put myself on a dating app and I'm winning. It's the same thing with clients. You don't just put up an ad and then boom, you got clients strolling through the door. It doesn't work like that. But go ahead, Jimmy. I just wanted to jump in there with that.
Yeah. Hopefully my dog doesn't interrupt me. There's construction going on around my new facility. So bear with me, guys. So we look at the math, right? And Anthony's totally right on the dating apps thing, right? I was on the dating apps years ago. I'm spoken for at this point, but it's the same idea, right? Leads, it's lead volume, it's follow-up, it's all these same things exist, right? So when we look at the numbers of it though, 7 to 8 clients a week is what you need to close to get to 30 a month, okay? So 7 to 8 clients a week. Now, if we look at baseline bad metrics, okay? So I'm gonna look at this in a bad metric scenario as opposed to a good metric scenario, okay? So bad metrics are going to be roughly 50%, and if we're depending on digital advertising and referrals and all these other things, right, and website leads, when we're looking at it, 50% of your booked appointments are actually going to show up. Now, if you're a better business, you'll get to 60 or 70% show rate, which we can help you with. But for the most part, let's just say 50% show for the appointment, okay? But that doesn't mean that you need to set 16 appointments, because not everybody is going to close, right? So we look at it and we go, okay, let's just say for easy math and in worst case scenarios, 50% of your shows actually close, right? So if we go 50%, 50%, what does that mean? That means you need roughly 30 booked appointments a week, because if half of them no show, you got 15 that show and half of them close. Now, with a proper sales system, proper nurturing, you're going to get more than a 50% close rate. Your close rate is probably going to be more like 75. Okay. So your close rate's at 75 and your show rate is at, let's say, 60%, right? You book 15 appointments, 60-ish percent. You book 15 appointments, 10 show, 7 close, right? That's where we want to get you. But there's a lot of gyms that are in this 50% range where only 50% show and only 50% close, right? When we're talking digital and everything mixed. So if you're only closing 50%.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to jump in there really quick too. Like, guys, when Jimmy says closing at 50%, that's what he's talking about. It's a blend of everything. Because I can guarantee you, if you're closing 80, 90% from website and referrals, as you should be, the digital side of it's going to be way less. Like automatically, Facebook, it should be about 10%. So,
yeah, Facebook is 10% conversion from lead to sale, right? So if we're talking about it from lead to sale on a website all the way through the whole path, from website, we're going lead to sale, we're probably at 60%. But we're going from appointment to sale on a website, you're at 90, right? We're going from appointment to sale on Facebook. You should be able to get that above 50%. But a lot of people are lower than that. So the aggregate ends up being 50% close on all leads, on all appointments, excuse me, on all appointments serviced. It ends up being 50%. That's a lot of people out there, right? So that being said, we have to improve all these metrics to actually get there, because do you legitimately have the time in your schedule to dial and book 30 appointments a week? Probably not. Probably not. And why have to do 30 appointments a week if you could do 15 and still get the same result? So it's these conversion percentages that we look at over time. And we can talk about the lead to reach to dial component, because all those components are also important. But what I find are the more important components are, once you book them, are you getting them to show? And once they show, are you getting them to close? Because you have a little bit more control over that. You don't have as much control over reaching the prospect, right? Seasonally, we end up with issues with digital advertising and with other leads. Seasonally, we're in the summer right now. It's harder to reach people. It's harder to get them on the phone. You have to have a dialed in follow-up sequence that allows you to do that. But what we want to focus on for the purposes of today is how do we get to 30 and how do we easiest get to 30? So if your closing percentages, and you don't know your numbers, you have to know them. But if your closing percentages and your show percentages are at 50 and 50%, you need 30 new client appointments every single week. With all the other things you got to do as a gym owner or as a personal trainer, if you're training people, there's no way you're going to get 30 appointments a week on your calendar in addition to all the other things you got going on. It's just not going to happen. You don't have the bandwidth. You don't have the time availability to do that. So can you get 20 new appointments in a week? Yeah, probably. But as soon as you start creeping up past 20, your time ends up getting eaten. The only reason I know that, right, is because of the way that our gym runs. right now, this week, as we're recording this, in our new location, we have 22 new booked appointments this week, right? 22. Okay. That's pretty close to capacity. And I'm not doing anything in my first location. And all I'm doing is selling. I don't even dial, right? My team dials. So I'm just closing appointments, right? So it takes a toll on you. So you have to make sure that your closing percentages are good enough that to get to 30 new clients in a month, you only need 15 appointments, because it means you're spending less on ads. It means you're spending less time to close these people, and you're not booking out your schedule as much. So we just wanted to go over the math of what that actually looks like. If you suck at sales and a marketing agency tells you that they can help you close 30 new deals a month, be prepared to spend hours on the phone, hours in sales meetings, and get a lot of rejection. If you don't have a sales system behind it, you don't have the right scripting and the right framework to convert these people, you're going to be climbing up, like you're going up, down, you're going downstream, upstream, whatever. You're canoeing upstream, whatever it is. I don't know the analogy. You probably have something better. It's working.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's the point that he's trying to make, guys. And again, if you guys want help in any of this, just make sure you click those links below, because again, we help you improve and scale your sales system. And again, there's a lot of things you could do. Like one of the key things, and I don't think Jimmy even realized he said it, was he's not doing any of the dials. He's doing all the sales, he's not doing any of the dials. So and that's arguably, the dials are the harder part, because you have to get them on the phone, you got to try to talk to them, you got to convince them, you got to get them from ice cold to sizzling hot. So the call part is the part. I hate the call part the most. That is the most annoying part of it. Once they're kind of in that appointment and they show up to the gym, they're kind of going to buy. Like, that's the easier part of it when they show up. But the fact that he's not even dialing it right now and his schedule is swamped just goes to show how much more work actually goes into it. So that's why you can't pass this stuff off too early, especially if you don't even know how to sell. I take that back, especially if you don't know how to train somebody to sell. That's the key right there, because you learned how to sell because you were forced to sell. Now, if you pass that off to somebody else, do you know how to teach the skill of selling? It's a skill. Do you know how to teach that skill? So that's where we come in and we help you to get to that 30 sales plus high ticket every month. And again, if you guys want help in any of that, just click those links below. And until next time, Anthony and Jimmy, Fitness Profit Multiplier, we are out.